Hi, hello and welcome to Reluctant Mongoose, my little space on the internet designed to help keep me accountable for being creative. My name is Lil and today I'm not feeling too good. I haven't been feeling too good for the last week, so we need something easy yet fun and bright to cheer myself up with. So I think it's time to try Sarah Renae Clark's Dopamine Colouring.
This is Dopamine Colouring. This is Dopamine Colouring. And I even got my husband to try Dopamine Colouring.
To keep this as easy as possible on my brain, I decided to use Wheel of Names to randomise which category I picked the colour card from within Sarah's colour cubes. This first one landed on beautiful birds. As you can see, there's a whole massive array of beautiful birds within this collection, just like it says on the tin. I went through and just decided which ones I liked, and then I shuffled them up and picked one at random just to get myself started. Ended up being this toucan. I then had to decide which image from Sarah's Vibrant Wilds I wanted to colour in. Now, there are so many gorgeous images I could have done from within this book, but I eventually landed on a bonsai tree, which we'll see in a minute. I decided that because I was wanting to use alcohol markers, I didn't want it to go through to the other page. Oh, there's the bonsai tree. I was going to transfer the image onto another piece of paper. Now, could I have printed this off from Sarah's digital version of the colouring book? Yes. Did it occur to me at the time? No, absolutely not. I find tracing calming anyway, so this was not really a big deal. It also meant I wasn't quite as scared about using this technique this time around because I wasn't going straight into the book. The paper I ended up using was a 140 GSM recycled mixed media cartridge paper that I actually bought to use in my Create This book and haven't managed to use in my Create This book yet. I deliberately left the lines in pencil because I didn't want any bleed through to happen, and I figured I could always redefine them later. And I think when this is actually done, I don't think the line work was actually needed. Now, is this technically dopamine colouring? No, it's not. Is this me trying my best to do dopamine colouring to start with? Yes it is, and that's all right. Every day is a school day, and part of what I love about art is that there's always something new to learn, whether that's a new technique, a new media, a new skill, something else to practice. There's always something new to kind of learn or hone or get better at. This being mixed media, we've gone in with alcohol markers, we've gone in with pencils, and now we're going in with acrylic markers, all in those colours that were on that toucan image to start with. It turns out as a nice enough image, but it's not dopamine colouring. What even is dopamine colouring? I'll link Sarah's original live stream in this video somewhere, and if I can't figure out that, I'll link it in the description anyway. But she describes it as a mix of chaos colouring that she'd seen on TikTok and dopamine decor. So basically throwing as much bright colour at the page as possible and just creating something that's happy and easy and stress-free, which is exactly what I wanted to do today. It's not exactly what I ended up doing. Like I said, it's far too realistic, this one. We moved on to another attempt, again using the Wheel of Names to pick out a random category. This one ended up being signature drinks, which may or may not be appropriate, depends on how you're feeling and what time of day it is. As my mum would say, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. As I shuffled through these cards, there were multiple cards that I liked the look of, and you can see that I ended up picking out 4 of them. Decided that I definitely needed more whimsy in the next attempt that I did, so I picked out a page that had 4 different images on it and one that I could use different colour palettes for across them. I've seen a Pictured Purpose do sort of splits across the page like this, so I decided to use the blue ice drink for 2 of the images and then the pink grey fruity one for another one. I separated the images off using washi tape because this time I wanted to use watercolour instead of alcohol markers for basing the images. This turns out to be a massive mistake. Massive mistake, but you don't learn anything without trying things that are new to you. So we'll go through this and we will see why it ends up being a mistake. Also, with watercolours, it allows me time to sort of pace myself as I'm working. I'll need to let it dry before I go in with pencils and acrylic markers, and with the Enmy CFS, I need to pace myself. I need to do things gradually in small steps so that I can have small breaks in between what I do. As you can see, it doesn't look too bad to start with, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. I don't think these colours on these images were it. I have said it before, and I will say it again, but there's no such thing as bad art. This is a learning experience. It's not bad art, it's a learning experience. This technique does not work well with watercolours, and my pencils don't like to layer on top of my watercolours very well. Some of them do, some of them don't. The lighter ones in particular do not like to layer on top of my watercolours at all. I also found out that my chunky, undelicate hands don't do delicate details very well with my Enmy acrylic markers. The markers are great, it's just that my use of them isn't, on this particular image, it's struggling quite a lot. But, you know, without doing these things, we don't learn, and we never grow as artists. I even tried using a bit of gold and silver in the images, and those didn't help. They just made it look, they just did nothing for it, I don't think. Didn't help it look better, didn't make it look any worse. After doing this and playing around with the pencils and the markers on all the corners, I went back and added in all of the black line work, as we'll see in a little bit, which I think helped a little bit, but not enough to fully redeem it. What I think I needed to do at this point was go back to Sarah's tutorial and have a look and see exactly how she did this technique, and exactly what it was that made this technique pop for her, because her final pieces, even her husband's, they were brilliant. They looked so fun, so engaging. They're what made me want to try this technique in the first place. Just the end result looked so simple and easy to achieve. Turns out it's not. Turns out there is skill involved. There is a learning curve, especially if you're a perfectionist, especially if you like to get things right on the first try, which if we're artists, there is a bit of a perfectionist in all of us, I think. For me, anyway, that's definitely true. So I went back to the tutorial, and I know exactly where I've been going wrong. We're going to do one final page, and we're going to hope that this one turns out. Again, using the wheel of colours to pick the colour card category, and we've got floral arrangements, which is going to be great, I think, for this florals page that I've chosen. I have been doing it all wrong. Even the first one, I'm being too controlled. I just need to get some colour down on the page. Imagine the page is totally blank with no line work on it at all, and go from there. So that's what we're going to do now. We're doing this page and going back in with the alcohol markers, as it's on the back of the bonsai tree we did earlier, and the ghosting won't matter so much. So do you see how I'm just going in with colour just wherever, just thinking along the lines of a 3-year-old practicing their mark making for the very first time. It's the first time you've been introduced to pens, the first time you've had paper, the first time you've had colour, and you're just going at it. I flipped the page over there just so you could see the ghosting. It's not massive, but it's there, and it would bother me, I think, if I tried to colour in the other page with just pencils or something. So that's why I went in on this page, because I've already got something to go over the other page. Back to what we're doing here. So the key to this appears to be a massive bright palette and then throwing the colour at the page all willy-nilly. We're going with a couple of darker shades of the markers just to add a little bit of shadow where we want to, and then we're going to go round with pencils and just highlight the highlights and block in some of the shadows, add in some colour where we think it needs to go. Already I think we can see a massive improvement on where this is compared to the first 2 attempts. For me, it was night and day. It was going back to Sarah's original live and the short that she did afterwards that really highlighted what I had been doing wrong. And whilst, yes, there's nothing wrong in art, it's all learning, but for this particular outcome, it was wrong. I wasn't doing it right. So yeah, bright colours and just not really paying attention to what colour goes where until you then come in to try and pull it back, bring in those shadows, add those highlights, and make it look a little bit more cohesive. which is what I'm doing here with some of the pencils. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, have any of you actually given dopamine colouring a go yet? How about chaotic colouring? It's not something I'm not interested. I don't really watch Colour Talk, and that's where Sarah saw the chaotic colouring trend over on TikTok, and I tend to watch more skits on TikTok than anything else. But this is the first time I've attempted anything like this. I'm normally one of these that tries things that are kind of much more realistic and or with a cartoon spin on being realistic. This sort of style is what I'd love. It's the sort of thing I'd love to be able to do, and apparently now can do, thanks to Sarah and her tutorials and way of teaching things that just makes it that much more easy to attain. After this attempt, I do think that I will go in and try and do this again another time. Maybe not recording it, maybe just doing it for myself. I may have a look on Colour Talk and see what chaos colouring is all about as well. But yeah, this to me is exactly what I was aiming at for the whole way through this video. The first two attempts definitely were not it. The first one was way too controlled. The second one was almost the antithesis of dopamine colouring. It gave me anti-dopamine. You know, it's one of those pages you want to tear out and throw away because you're that frustrated with it. But I was so pleased with how this one came out. I didn't even feel the need to add glitter, which says a lot for me. So yeah, first one, very controlled. Second one, not dopamine at all. Massive fail in my eyes. And then we have the final page. Perfect. And there we have it, guys. So let me know what you think. I realised I didn't get quite get it right in the first or second attempt, but I think the third attempt was pretty successful. Have you tried it? What did you think? Do you think it's easier or harder? It can be difficult to let go of our perceptions of perfection and to just really just like embrace our inner 3-year-old a little bit more. It can be freeing, but it's also very difficult, especially when you've been indoctrinated into it must be like this or it must be like that. So yeah, as a perfectionist it was really difficult, but I feel like it was worthwhile, a worthy exercise. Do let me know if you give it a go. Obviously go over and watch Sarah's video. I think I've linked it somewhere in the video somewhere. I'll make sure it's in the description anyway. And have a great week. Bye.